Hi everyone, Aaron here for Zollotech, and I wanted to do a follow-up review on the iPhone 6. I've been using it just about every day since it came out, so it's almost 3 months now, and I thought I'd share some of my thoughts on it. Now, the phone itself has a skin on it I put on in one of my previous videos, and I do really like the iPhone 6, but it's very slippery. The skin does help a little bit, but on top of that, I actually used the silicone case just to give me that much more resistance to it falling out of my hands. Now, with previous versions of iPhone, I really didn't have that issue. The 4, 4S, 5, 5S, because of the flattened sides, it was far less slippery, and I feared dropping it a lot less. With these rounded sides, it's just really slippery, and I like the feel of it, but I'm afraid I'm going to drop it. So I've got that skin on it. I often use the silicone case, and I actually have a screen protector on it as well. I did a review of that in another video, but I do have that on there just to prevent scratches. I've used it without anything for some time, and then I put all these things on as I reviewed them, and have just kept them in place. Now, the phone itself, I like the design. I still have to say, now, I don't know if you'll agree with me on this, but I still have to say my favorite iPhone design, regardless of screen size or anything, just the design, I really like the 4 and 4S. This one was then my next favorite design, and I think it still is my favorite design, but the 4 and 4S just had a solid feel to it, where this one being so light that it's just not as solid. And that's just my personal opinion. I thought this was my favorite, and I still think I like the older one. But I do like the larger display. Now, if you've got a 6 Plus, even more so, the displays are great. The size is perfect, in my opinion, on the 6 at 4.7 inches. I really just like this display size, and it makes the phone very enjoyable to use. I don't find myself squinting at it or anything like that, and that's definitely a big plus, no pun intended, for the other phone. But as far as everything else goes, I feel like this is just a simple update. You know, Apple Pay is included in this device with NFC, but you can't use it for anything else. And other than Touch ID, which I really like and wish more phones could use, but they can't because it's a patent, I really love the Touch ID feature. It's locked, it's secure, but it's quick to unlock, and that's definitely a nice feature instead of typing in your password or swiping a pattern or whatever on other phones. So I wish more phones would do something like that and do it well. I know Samsung has done it, but it's just not so good. As for iOS 8, iOS 8 obviously is just a continuation of iOS 7, and it's really refined. And I've used an iPhone every year since the original came out, and I have to say I find myself finally getting to the point where I'm bored with it, and that might be because it's to the point where it's mature, just like Mac OS 10 and Windows 8 or 10 as that's coming out. They've gotten to the point where they're at a certain maturity level where things are going to be the same for the most part, and they're just going to improve slightly from here on out. And that's probably where we are with the smartphone market for the most part. So, you know, you can pick and choose between all the different platforms. I know a lot of people are passionate about their Windows phones and their Android phones. I regularly use this Moto X that I really like. Android Lollipop is, in my opinion, just as good as iOS 8. There's pluses and minuses about each, but they're really, really good at this point. They're both very mature. I really get some good battery life on this phone. I find that with my current usage, this has been plugged in to drive about 10 minutes or so. But with my current usage, you can see 6 hours, 2 minutes. I find that it lasts me throughout the day with no problem. I'm at 34%. I unplugged it at 7 this morning, and I usually plug it in at night, and I really don't think about it at all. Some people use their phones a lot more and do need to think about it, but I really don't think about it at all with this phone. Even more so, I guess, with the 6 Plus. I did review that, and that gets even better battery life. So iOS does a great job of that, and I'm really happy with the battery life of this device. Probably the thing I like the most about this phone is the camera. I don't like that it protrudes from the back. I find that to be almost un-Apple-like, and that's just me being a little picky, but it just seems like they're so picky about hardware designs, and to do that is not like them as much, I guess. But it's not that big of a deal, especially if you have a case on it, you don't even notice it. So that's just nitpicking about things, I guess. But as far as the camera goes, there is really not too many cameras out there on phones that can compete with this one on this level. There's some that are right on par, but it's still considered the best camera. And I know some people are going to argue with that, but there's multiple tests that have been done, not only by myself, but by many other reputable photographers and things that say this is the best camera. Now, it's not the best camera for every situation, but it's the best as far as picture taking. Video, there are better out there. The Note 4 has a phenomenal video camera on it. But the phone itself, I wouldn't get rid of it at this point. If you've never had an iPhone before, I would imagine you're probably loving this phone. As for me, I just use so many phones, and I see the different ones out there that are good and the ones that are bad, and the Moto X has just grown on me, and I really like this device. I could see myself ordering one for myself. I like it that much. If all my family didn't use an iPhone, I could see myself using it. I could ramble on and on about what I like about iPhone 6, but I really want to make this just to see what you think about it. Have you had an iPhone 6? Have you been using one since day one? What do you think about it regarding the iPhone 5 or 4S or whatever you came from? I'd love to hear what you think about it in the comments below. I love the larger screen. I know my wife, she doesn't want to upgrade yet because she likes the smaller screen. It fits better in her hand, and she uses an iPad or a computer if she wants to see a bigger screen. So I know that's the case for quite a few people I've talked to personally. So what do you think? Let me know in the comments below. Which phone did this not impress you and you switched away? I'd be curious to know that too. Let me know in the comments below. Maybe I'll do a follow-up video answering some questions you might have or some of the comments you left. If you haven't subscribed already, please subscribe, like, comment. As always, thanks for watching. This is Aaron. I'll see you next time.